Make sure everything's okay on Instagram. Okay, so I'm live. So, greetings, everyone. Greetings. My name is June Allen, and I am the founder of the Art of Greatness at juneallen.net. So, I am a racial trauma therapist. I'm an author. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. And I'm here today to talk to you about the black sheep. Okay, the black sheep of the family. We've heard that spoken about so many times, and I want to give you a different perspective. I found this amazing piece of writing on the black sheep and what it means. So I just wanted to share it with you and share some stuff around it. But before I go into it, I just want to share a little bit about me for those of you that don't know me. So obviously, as I said before, so I'm a racial trauma therapist. That's my main thing. So with one-to-one clients, I help black women experience unapologetic self-love, and we do that by exploring the intersection between the relationship with self, the mother wound, and systems of oppression. As a business coach and consultant, I help professional business women deal with or how to manage and explore visibility in business. And we do that by looking at financial therapy through the link between their relationship to receiving, systems of oppression, and their money trauma. Okay, so I'm also in a therapist in 12-step recovery. So I also write about the link between racism and addiction. So if you want any more information about what I do and how I can help you, you can click the link in my bio. Go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So the other thing that I want to let you know is that this Saturday I am hosting a Healing the Black Mother Wound retreat. Hi, thanks for joining Healing the Black Mother Wound. It's a half-day retreat, and with Mother's Day in the UK coming up in 2 or 3 weeks' time, I wanted to do this retreat to help people not just to understand what the black mother wound is, but also to create a self-care plan around Mother's Day. How are you going to deal with your emotions before, how to take care of yourself on the day itself, and how to deal with how you're feeling after the event. Okay, so for those of you that don't have a great relationship with your mum, that is a great place to start. If you've already been doing your mother wound work, it's a great time to kind of use the event to check in with yourself, to find out where you are and just how to look after yourself. I still use all these tools, so you're going to get 10 plus years of my experience as a therapist, and also with my own personal experience of the challenging relationship with my mum. You're going to get all of that information. So there's going to be a workbook. We're also going to be making some body scrub at the end of the retreat as well, to kind of balance the experience. And it's going to be a really, really beautiful day. I'm really looking forward to it. So if you're interested in joining us for that, click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. Right, so let's get into the content. So I really wanted to share this reading with you that I found on the internet the other day when I was doing some research and stuff for the retreat. And it just really, really spoke to me. So I just really, really wanted to share it with you. So I'm just going to read it out, and then I'm just going to share my thoughts as it comes up. Okay. So the piece is called The Black Sheep, and it's written by a psychotherapist called Bert Hillinger. I don't know how you pronounce that. Bert Hillinger. Okay. So he says, the so-called black sheep of the family are, in fact, hunters born of paths of liberation into the family tree. Okay? The so-called black sheep of the family are, in fact, hunters born of paths of liberation into the family tree. Okay, so that means we're cycle breakers. I class myself as a black sheep of the I hate that term, actually, to be honest, because it's quite racist in the sense that somehow being the black sheep of the family is a bad thing. Okay, you're the one that's sort of kind of been discarded. You're the kind of the one that nobody really wants to deal with. But actually, this piece is all about how being the black sheep means that you're the cycle breaker. You're the one that with the courage. You can be the one who's changing your legacy. Okay, so according to this piece, the black sheep of the family, we're the ones that are paving the way, okay, for liberation within the family tree. Okay, he talks about the members of the tree who do not conform to the norms or traditions of the family system. Those who since childhood have constantly sought to revolutionize beliefs, going against the paths marked by family traditions. those criticized, judged, and even rejected, these are usually called to free the tree of repetitive stories that frustrate entire generations. Okay, I'm going to read that again because that was quite a mouthful, but it's powerful. The members of the tree who do not conform to the norms or traditions of the family system. Okay, so, and I knew from a very young age that there was something. I couldn't articulate it at the time because I was quite young, but I just knew when I was really young that something just wasn't right. Something wasn't sitting well with me. The way that there was so much pain in my family, and the way that, you know, the way that the parenting was operating, the violence that I witnessed and experienced, all of that sort of stuff. There was something in me that just didn't sit. It didn't sit well. And I knew that as I got older that I wouldn't conform, that I could not conform, or I could not just choose to, you know, when I had my own family and stuff like that, there were things that I knew that I didn't want to repeat. There were some things that I just didn't understand, you know, but now I understand that's to do with the pain that was in my family, the fact that there's so much trauma intergenerationally. And also we're talking about, you know, we talk specifically about the black mother wound. It's about what's going on socially as well, how black women are treated. And when we talk about, you know, our ancestors being enslaved and patriarchy and all of that stuff that kind of gets enmeshed in our experiences as black women. Okay. So I already knew when I was young that something wasn't happening, but I just couldn't articulate what was going on. So yeah, this is another reason why doing this work is so important, because you get the opportunity to really think about and explore and unpack what's actually going on for you. Okay, so the members of the tree who do not conform to the norms or traditions of the family system, those who since childhood have constantly sought to revolutionize beliefs. Okay, that's me. Going against the paths marked by family traditions, those criticized, judged, and even rejected. Okay, I've always been the weird one. I've always been the weird one. The one that, you know, no one else in my family was going to therapy when I started getting to therapy. You know, no one else is in recovery. I was always the weird one. You know, I used to dress kind of differently. I just wanted to explore, you know, I even though I felt really controlled in my family, you know, and, you know, I would get, sometimes when I would try and do things to kind of express my identity, it kind of, you know, it backfired on me. You know, it would backfire on me, and I ended up getting beaten for it. I remember when I was about 14, you know, I really idolized Grace Jones. I absolutely loved that woman. I absolutely loved her. And at the time, I was also working as I was a hairdresser. You know, I used to be a hairdresser. And so I had a Saturday job. And I remember one time I went to the salon, and I decided that I was going to get my hair cut like Grace Jones. And when I got home, my mum she went into this rage, and I got beaten for it, you know. And that's when I learned very early on that being myself wasn't safe. I learned that being myself wasn't safe. And, you know, she was angry that I'd cut my hair. I think she was, you know, she was probably worried about what her friends and stuff would say, you know, because I'd done this thing. And she was ashamed. She was ashamed of me. And I really felt that. I really felt that shame. She was so angry. You know, she was so angry. And even then, I kind of knew that I didn't understand why me expressing myself in that way was so offensive to her. I didn't understand why that was so offensive to her. But again, even then, I knew that I wanted to do something that was going to break patterns, because I didn't, you know, for me, wanting to express myself, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, you know. So I was that child. I was the weird one that didn't want to just go along with things just because that it was the done thing, or because, you know, everybody else behaved that way, or because everyone else did it or said it or whatever. Just because it's what I'd learned in my family system, it doesn't mean that it's right for me. And I've learned through working with clients that this enmeshment, this taking on of other people's, this internalizing other people's values is something that, you know, a lot of my clients struggle with, because just because your parents have certain values and certain ideals about things, it doesn't mean that you have to take those things on. But as children, we take on these things, we internalize these things, because at the end of the day, we're children, and we're powerless. We're powerless. Okay, so we take on these things that our parents do and internalize them. And I actually ended up, even though I knew it wasn't the right thing, even though I knew I shouldn't have got beaten for doing the thing, for having my hair cut. I didn't. I had to toe the line, because at the time, obviously, I lived at home and all the rest of it, and it just created a lot of resentment. It created a lot of pain. It created a lot of pain because I didn't understand how that was supposed to be loving. How is that supposed to be? How was I going to nurture my identity? How was I going to explore what it means to be myself in the world when I had all of this going on? Okay, and that's often the path that I take with clients, because a lot of them, they don't have a sense of self. They don't have a sense of self. I work with a lot of clients that grew up in homes that were abusive, and neglectful, so they don't have any sense of their own being. They don't know what their values are. They don't know what their needs are, because no one's ever asked them. They've never been taught what it means to do that. So being the black sheep of the family is, for me, it's a way of gaining autonomy over yourself, gaining autonomy over your femininity, over your body, reclaiming your own thoughts. Okay, giving yourself permission to take up space in the world, whether it's in your family, or whether it's at work, or whether it's in a relationship, or whatever it is. Okay, healing the black mother wound is about regaining your autonomy. It's about separating what belongs to you and what belongs to your parents or your family stuff that's nothing to do with who you are. Is separating those two and giving yourself permission to actually start to stand in and explore who you are, what you're about, and what who you want to be. That is so important. Okay, so he goes on to say, judged or even rejected, these are usually called to free the tree of repetitive stories that frustrate entire generations. The black sheep, those who do not adapt, those who cry rebelliously, play a basic role within each family system. They repair, pick up, and create new they repair, pick up, and create new and unfold branches in the family tree. Okay, the black sheep, those who do not adapt, those who cry rebelliously, play a basic role within each family system. They repair, pick up, and create new and unfold branches in the family tree. Okay, so all of those things that you're doing, okay, to break family patterns, all the stuff that I've done, from whether it's parenting, whether it's choosing to go to therapy, choosing to unpack racism, patriarchy, all of those toxic things that get enmeshed in how we're parented. Okay, how I feel about myself as a woman, reading books, all of that stuff, and actually becoming a therapist. These are all rebellious. These are all rebellious things, okay, that I've chosen to do, that are going to break old family patterns. And if it makes me the black sheep, then I will wear that badge with pride. I ain't got no shame about being the black sheep, because if it means that my daughter's going to have a different experience, if it means that my relationships are different, if it means that my work is different and how I show up in the world is different, then being the black sheep for me is not no negative thing. Okay? It ain't no negative thing. Okay? So he goes on to say, thanks to these members, our trees renew their roots. Okay? Thanks to these members, our trees renew their roots. If you are feel like the black sheep of the family, and you are breaking cycles, you are creating new roots, okay, within your family tree. Its rebellion is fertile soil. Okay? The rebellion that you're doing in this is refertilizing the soil. Okay? It's refertilizing the soil. Its madness is water that nourishes. Its stubbornness is new air. Its passion is fire that reignites the light of the heart of the ancestors. Okay? Thanks to these members, our trees renew their roots. Its rebellion is fertile soil. Its madness is water that nourishes. Its stubbornness is new air. Its passion is fire that reignites the light in the heart of our ancestors. Uncountable repressed desires, unfulfilled dreams, the frustrated talents of our ancestors are manifested in the rebelliousness of these black sheep seeking fulfillment. Okay? The genealogical tree, by inertia, will want to continue to maintain the castrating and toxic course of its trunk, which makes the task of our sheep a difficult and conflicting one. Because we're being gaslit. Maybe there's family members that keep trying to guilt trip you. Okay. Other people saying, well, you can't do that. You've only got one family. You've only got one mum. All of that kind of stuff. The family members and society will tell you that what you're doing is wrong. You're betraying your family and all the rest of it. But actually, you're betraying yourself and you're betraying your community and you're betraying by ancestors. You're betraying your ancestors by putting up with stuff, by tolerating stuff, by tolerating behaviors, by tolerating abuse, whether it's verbal, physical, emotional, psychological. You're abandoning yourself by tolerating all of these things. Okay, so being the black sheep, being the cycle breaker, taking action means that you are standing in your power by doing that, and it's not easy, but you're standing in your power by doing that. Okay, so I'll just end by reading the last bit. However, who would bring new flowers to our tree if it were not for them, us, the black sheep? Who would create new branches? Without them, the unfulfilled dreams of those who support the tree generations ago would die buried beneath their own roots. Okay, so when we're not doing this work, we're going to die beneath the roots. We're going to die beneath the toxic roots. Okay, let no one cause you to doubt. Take care of yourself. Take care of your rarity as the most precious flower of your tree. You are the dream of your ancestors. Okay? You are the dream of your ancestors. Okay? Be a proud black sheep. Be a proud black sheep. You are the dream of your ancestors. I'm going to leave it there because I've got another appointment at 11, so I'm going to have to go. But marinate on that. Okay? Marinate on that, black sheep. All right? If you're interested in joining me for the Mother Wound Retreat on Saturday, click the link in the bio. Go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, where's this thing? Oh, there it is. And